Hi friends! Today I'm talking all about middle grade book recommendations. This is such a fun and sweet genre to read in. Sometimes when adult fantasy or fiction or romance gets to be a little bit too heavy for me and a little too serious, I will grab for a middle grade book, and these books are so magical and sweet and whimsical. I don't think you're ever too old to read them. I actually think one of the greatest tragedies of our lives is as we grow up, we forget that inner child within all of us. And so these books are going to help with remembering some of that magic and fun. So whether these books are for you or for a middle grader in your life, I think there's something here for everybody. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching. Let's jump in. The first set of books I have here is the Hatmakers series. So we have the Hatmakers and we have the Mapmakers. These are both by Townsend Merchant. I just think these covers are absolutely beautiful. But this story is about Cordelia Hatmaker. She's our main character, and in this world we have maker families that have magical abilities to make certain types of elements. So Cordelia's family are the Hatmakers. They can make magical hats that can take on personalities and have different traits. There are also glove maker families, boot maker families, watchmakers, cloak makers, and so on. And there are a set of these families in London. Only they are allowed to make these magical elements. And one day her father, Prospero, goes off in search of some more magical hat elements, and unfortunately he gets lost at sea. And as you can imagine, Cordelia is really distraught, but she doesn't quite believe that he is completely gone. She thinks something has happened to him, but that he's still alive. So she sets off on a magical quest to go and find out what happens to him. And at the same time, in their world in London where it's set, there's also an evil brewing. There's a villain that's on the hunt for maker magic, and he's trying to misuse this maker magic to start a war in London and between England and France. And so Cordelia not only has to figure out what happened to her father, but also try and stop this war. These books are absolutely cute. They are so full of adventure. Cordelia is such a fun character. She's got a lot of strength and whimsy, and she's also very cute, and she meets a ton of great characters along the way. I love these. There are two so far. There's a third one coming out this fall called the Troublemakers. The next set of books I have here is the Vanderbeeker series. There is 6 of them in total. I think there's a 7th and final one coming out later this fall. I'm not going to hold all of these while I talk about them. They're quite heavy, but I will hold up the first one here. This is the Vanderbeekers of 141st Street. This is by Karina Jan Glasser, and this series is so cute. I cannot say enough about it. I love reading about this family. So this family, the Vanderbeekers, consists of a mom, a dad, and 5 Vanderbeeker children, as well as a ton of pets. So their house is full and busy. And this first story is about them living in their brownstone in New York, and they are on the verge of being evicted just a couple of days before Christmas. Their landlord decides that he doesn't want to renew their lease and that they need to find somewhere else to live. So of course, this is something the kids don't want to hear. They've built such a community in their neighborhood. They've gotten to know everyone around them. They love their schools. They love their house that they've gotten really cozy in. So the Vanderbeeker children set out to win over their landlord and convince him to let them stay there. This book is so sweet, and it also has a really great commentary on sibling dynamics and family dynamics and just, you know, growing up and the different things that you learn as you grow up and the things that you come to terms with. It's very emotional, but in a light-hearted way, and told in a very kind of realistic, real family dynamic way as well. So I love that aspect of it. It's also quite cute and funny, and there's just so much going on at all times because there's just so many of them. I also loved the scenery that you get when it depicts, you know, different parts of New York and New York society. I love that when you go to New York, you know, even though it's a big city, you can still feel like you live in your own little magical bubble. So this book is just so sweet. The others are their other adventures and different things that they get up to. So I love this book so much. Highly recommend this series. Like I said, there are 6 books in this series, and there's a 7th one coming out later this year. The next book I have here is Juniper Harvey and the Vanishing Kingdom. This is by Nina Varela, and this is a new book release, and it's going to be part of a series because the book does leave off on a cliffhanger. But this book is about Juniper Harvey, who's just moved to Florida, and she's left behind everything that she knows in Texas, and it's the story of her trying to navigate a new world and meeting new friends. And simultaneously, every night she's been having these dreams about a kingdom and a really scary attack in a temple and a girl that keeps turning into an ivory statue, and she doesn't know what to make of these dreams. Well, one day she goes to a school dance and it ends terribly, and she's in her art room, and she's sketching a picture of the girl that she keeps dreaming about, and she makes a wish that she wishes she could have that girl in real life appear and be her friend. And sure enough, the next morning when she wakes up, that very girl is standing in her bedroom holding a sword to her face, and the girl reveals to her that she is a princess from a faraway kingdom, and she needs help because her kingdom has been vanishing over the last several years. So they set off in an adventure to figure out what's going on with this kingdom and how she can help the princess that's shown up in her dreams and now in real life. I love this book so much. It's so fast-paced. It's really easy read. I think you could read it in like one sitting, maybe two. And I also love that it has great commentary and representation on anxiety and panic attacks, as well as some queer representation. So like I said, this book is the first one in a new series. The next set of books I have here is the Nevermore series. There's Nevermore, Wondersmith, and Hollowpox. This series is by Jessica Townsend, and there are 3 so far. There is a 4th coming out later this year. So the first book, called Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow. This story is about a girl named Morgan Crow, and she has been cursed since she was born because she was born on Eventide. This is the unluckiest day of the year in their world, and she gets blamed for everything that goes wrong in their society, and she also knows that she's going to die on her 11th birthday. This is a consequence of being born on that unlucky day. So on her 11th birthday, as she's awaiting her fate, she actually is saved by a stranger who comes to town named Jupiter North, and he whisks her away to a magical city called Nevermore. And in Nevermore, she learns that Jupiter has actually chosen her to compete in a number of different trials against a lot of other talented children to get a spot in the prestigious Wondrous Society that they have in their world. So Morgan must compete in all of these trials and get a spot in the society if she wants to live. Otherwise, if she doesn't make it, then she has to go back home and await her fate of death. I loved this book so much. It gave me very like Alice in Wonderland vibes. It has like so many quirky characters and really kind of whimsical places and really interesting descriptions, and the magic system is also quite like quirky. So very heavy on the quirky and a dash of cuckoo, and it just makes for the perfect story. I loved Morgan's adventure and journey in this, and just how she learns about herself and the world around her and what she does to compete in the trials, and how she kind of gets caught up to speed with all the other children who have been preparing for this whole time. So a really great story. There are others in the series, like I said. There's 2 more that are already out, and then there's a 4th coming later this year. The next set of books I have here are books that I have not yet read, but they are on my TBR pile and I can't wait to get to them. The first book I have here is The Train to Impossible Places by P.G. Bell, and this book is about the impossible postal service, and this is a train that runs anywhere and everywhere from the bottom of the ocean to outer space. And one day the train comes roaring through Susie's living room and turns her world upside down. She sneaks on board and becomes the master deputy postmaster, and she gets her first delivery, and it's supposed to go to an evil lady. But before she can do that, the package starts talking to her. The package is named Frederick, and he's a snow globe, and he warns her that she cannot deliver him to the evil lady because he has information on how she can take over the entire union of impossible places. So Susie must figure out a way to save Frederick and the entire world, as well as protecting her friends on this adventure. I think this book sounds like pure fun. I mean, what's not to love? A talking snow globe, a magical train, a strong female character, and an evil lady to stop. I mean, this just sounds like pure magic, and I can't wait to get to it this summer. The next set of books I have here are Amari and the Night Brothers, and then Amari and the Great Game. This is a book series by B.B. Alston. There are 2 books so far. I think there's a 3rd one coming out later this year, but this story is about Amari Peters, and her older brother Quentin goes missing. While Amari's trying to figure out what happened to her brother, she discovers a ticking briefcase in his closet, and it turns out that he has nominated Amari for a summer tryout for the Secret Bureau of Supernatural Affairs. So Amari goes and tries to compete because she knows this is probably the key to finding out what happened to her brother. So she begins to navigate this new world. She's trying to prep and train for this competition because she's up against a number of different kids who have way more advantages than her in this competition, and Amari just keeps pushing through. She challenges herself to win this competition competition so that she can really find out what happens to her brother. I think this book is going to be a lot of fun and adventure and have a ton of mystery to figure out what's going on and what's happened. I think there's also a lot of representation, which I can't wait to read about. I think it's so important to continue to have those conversations even at this middle grade level. So I'm really looking forward to this one. And the last series I have here is the Pinch of Magic series. I have 3 of the 4 books that are out already. This is A Pinch of Magic, A Sprinkle of Sorcery, and A Tangle of Spells. These books are by Michelle Harrison. Can we first take a moment to look at the artwork on these covers? I mean, it is just stunning. I love what the illustrator did. Just beautiful, beautiful covers. But this series is about the Wittershin sisters, Betty, Charlie, and Fliss. And each sister has been given a magical object that has its own unique powers, but each object also has a really dark secret. And the sisters soon come to realize that their family has been cursed by a generations-long curse that says that they cannot leave the island that they are living on. So the sisters set off to break this curse, and along the way they meet a mysterious prisoner who comes to tell them that they're actually going to have to battle a great number of different mysteries and all sorts of magical elements in order to free their family forever. These books sound absolutely magical and whimsical and incredible. I can't wait to read about the dynamics of the sisters and family bonds and what they do to break this curse. I know people have raved about this series for years. It's been on my TBR for a number of those years, so I cannot wait to get to them. I definitely plan to this summer. And like I said, there are 4 books actually. I only have 3 of them here, but I plan to get the 4th one as well. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed hearing about these books, and I hope you feel compelled to pick one up if you haven't already. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Please comment down below if you read any of these or have already read them. I'd love to hear what you have to say about them. And if you have any recommendations as well, I'm always looking for new reads. So if you have anything in the category of middle grade, please drop it down below. Thanks for watching today, and I'll catch you next time.